Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Alante. If you're new here, I'm reading Shahrazad Ali's The Blackman's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman. This is chapter 7. I have recorded chapter 1 through 6 if you haven't checked those out yet. If you want to know what's in the book but you don't want to buy it, I bought it. I'm reading a good chunk of it. So yeah, you can know what's actually in the book instead of going off of what other people are saying about the book. You know what I mean? Chapter 7 is family relationships. Let's get into it. It's a fairly small chapter. We're about halfway through the book. There are 13 chapters. No. 18 chapters. Sorry. Well, not halfway, but it's a very small book. So this is chapter 7 here. So it looks like it's halfway, right? Doesn't it look like halfway? Chapter 7, Family Relationships. The family relationships of the Black woman must be examined if the Black man desires to know what circumstances and personalities produced her. If her parents and siblings were hellraisers, fighting and arguing all the time, the Black man can be sure it will be a rocky road living with her. The Black woman can only live with what she knows, and there is no magic to a wedding ceremony or marriage certificate that will instantaneously correct her ideas about how life should be lived. Her home life and prior relationships with men during her childhood will have great bearing on how she treats her husband. Human behavior is the result of training, repetitive instructions, and familiarity of environment. The Black woman is known to take her family's side against the Black man if push comes to shove. If a member of her family does not like the man, she will often ask the man to be nicer to that particular relative so the relative will form a better opinion and accept him. She is easily swayed by her family to believe that her man's faults are so visible that everyone she contacts can spot them. She also has the tendency to try to force the Black man to live up to the requirements of her family. She will consult them, confide in them, and take their advice. Sometimes she will refrain from making a decision on her own until she checks with her family. Many of them consult their family on every instruction the Black man gives. She is known to take her family's advice on everything from keeping house to bedroom protocol. Sometimes if the Black woman is angry with the Black man, her family will adopt the same attitude and side with her against him without even knowing his side. The Black woman has also had a tendency to take sides with her mother against her father. After all, he is just another man. The Black man is generally thought of as wrong no matter what the topic, especially if he is not doing something the Black woman wants him to do and does not have an acceptable reason for abstaining. The Black woman extends these same privileges to her girlfriends. The relationship with her friends are of vast priority and importance because she can count on them to give her sympathy and understanding about her problems at home. It is a given among Black women that some things cannot be presented or discussed in front of a Black man. This is called girl talk. The men prefer to call it what it is. Gossip. They will stay on the phone for hours discussing and debating other people's problems. But there is another level of conversation that the Black man does not hear and does not know exists. Most of this is classified as some more girl talk, but it is of a more vile nature and filthy language, and references are exclusively reserved for the discussion of Black men. It is during this conversation that Black women laugh at and make fun of the Black man and brag about successes of their tricks played on him. They laugh at how he talks, walks, dresses, what he does for a living, and how he performs in bed. All Black men get grouped together during these sessions, and they have no special loyalty to any man, whether he is their husband or not. Whenever the Black man manages to win an argument, get his way, or make the Black woman submit to something, she calls in the troops to discuss the problem and get advice on how to handle it. The worst result is that she will have to admit the Black man is right, so she searches and researches among other women until she finds a solution. She stops at nothing to prove him wrong. It may be days later, but she will not drop the issue until she gets him It may be days later, but she will not drop the issue until she gets him to admit he made a mistake or doesn't know something. They will also devise very intricate and deceptive tests among their friends or relatives. She will set the black man up to see if he will respond to the sexual advances of another woman. She may use a family member or friend he doesn't know. Whatever the appointed actress reports is what the black woman will believe. She naturally believes a woman who claims that her man tried to seduce her or make a pass at her. The black man is so trusting that he is surprised that they actually set him up. He must remember that he cannot trust her. Left to her own warped devices, she will create confusion and put the black man in hell about it by blaming him. She cannot be trusted, nor can her motives be trusted until she is trained, and she is hard to train to behave properly. Sometimes the entire family structure is tainted with wrong ideas and wrong treatment of the black man. These principles are not always at work in his family, but the black woman is perfectly comfortable with saying negative things about the black man to his mother, who also belongs to the black women's secret allegiance club. Sometimes the mother will agree with the daughter-in-law, be sympathetic, and tell her how to handle him. All black women are familiar with the experience of trying to get a black man to do something he refuses to do. Therefore, all of them understand the predicament of trying to live with a defiant black man, the one who is a hindrance to the happiness of a black woman. The mystery, intrigue, and suspense the black woman perpetrates must stop. She uses behavioral modification techniques on the black man to force him to go along with her ideas about how he and she should be. The black woman does not accept the real definition of who she is. She thinks that she has several choices of how she can be. She chooses randomly, and if her choice proves to be unsuccessful, she chooses another. She may adopt several kinds of lifestyles and purposes during her adult tenure. She changes religions and opinions as easily as she changes her shoes. She does not realize that her floundering purposes destroy her nation and create unstable offspring. No family can be successful if all the members have different beliefs and value systems. There must be agreement on the unity of purpose and goals. What blacks have in their family relationships now makes for disconnection and scattered family ties where there are no overall laws which are respected by all the members. Thus, the black woman, being the first teacher of the family members, and since they are all born of a woman, must instill in the family children unified training and rules. There are some black women, as a result of emotionally traumatic childhoods, who do not get along well with their parents, especially their mother. They have been known to talk to her very disrespectfully and treat her badly. Many of these women are frustrated and blame their mothers for being the reason they are so confused and are unsuccessful in their adult relationships. No matter what the reason, no black woman should treat her mother, the one who brought her in the world, with disrespect. Albeit there may be just cause for the adult daughter to feel regret or hostilities, it is not right to verbally or physically abuse old people. When it is possible, the older parents should be allowed to have quarters in the same house, nearby, or even in the attic or basement of the home of their children if they have no place else to go. Extended family members should not be rejected as useless because they are growing older, have ailments, or do not want to live alone. Neither should the black woman hassle the black man because he treats his mother better than she treats hers. The black woman can have no real place in her own life if she is carrying unresolved hostilities or grudges against her own mother. This also goes for her relationship with her father. Often black women who grew up without a fatherhead in the house, or grew up overhearing her mother defame her father's name, or saw activities as she deciphered as bad treatment against her mother by her father, do not know how to live with a black man in peace. She brings a hidden agenda to the relationship of distrust and sometimes hate for all men, which may be deeply rooted in her childhood experiences with her own father and other menfolk in her household. A black woman who was raised in a broken home environment has no masculine mentor by which to pattern her behavior towards her own man. She will have a tumultuous time adjusting to living with a man daily and treating him properly. She will be defensive, secretive, and suspicious. She will also be combative when challenged on her actions towards her man. She will also have a difficult time raising her sons and daughters because she will not know how to teach them their proper and natural roles in life. Try as she may, unless she is given new instructions and information from another source, she will revert eventually to her own mother's behavior traits, even if she currently deplores the way her mother raised her. It is all she knows. By the time she studies, listens, and learns how to behave to make her relationship successful or raise her children properly, it is often too late. The relationship with the man may be irretrievably damaged and the children may be grown. In addition to the wasted lifetime spent fighting against her man, she would be sending her own children off into the world ill-prepared to get along with their mates. Thus, the perpetuation of an inherited culture of family maladjustment is passed on from one generation to the next, and problems of not knowing how to mate successfully are then compounded by racism. All of these habits result in the Black community being disorganized because none of the inhabitants know what they should be doing or why. The family structure remains the primary institution of learning. Over the years, the terminology has changed. The styles of expression have changed, and each generation of Blacks continue to point outward, blaming socioeconomic pressures as the culprit. The American government has been powerless to intervene on a social level to straighten out the Black family. It is not their responsibility anyway. It is the Black man's responsibility to straighten out his own family, starting with the Black woman. When he corrects her, he corrects his entire nation. He cannot do it alone because he does not raise the children by himself. He can set the example in his own house by treating his woman and children right, being obedient and respectful to his own mother and father, and becoming steadfast in his determination to make a change. He and the men closest to him must meet and honestly take a look at the status of the Black family and their interpersonal relationships, and perhaps make agreements to make changes in their homes. The Black woman is in shambles because she does not understand the principles of familyhood. Family secrets. Black women keep secrets and assume that certain family activities and information are none of his business and do not affect him. The Black man has every right to know what's going on in his own family and in his own home. If he does not know the internal workings of his own household, he is at a disadvantage since he has a plethora of responsibilities to his family, from protection to support. He cannot do his part when important, minor, or major information is kept from him. Sometimes the only way the Black man knows what's going on in his own home is to ask the children or wait until somebody on the outside tells him. He is sometimes treated as an intruder in his own house. Black women enlist their families, children, and girlfriends to keep information away from the Black man. Interestingly enough, they all cooperate in her scheme to keep the Black man from knowing the real truth about his environment. The end result of a Black man living and sleeping in quarters where he is not privy to what's going on is chaos. Lying is a practice literally all Black women participate in. Some of the lying goes on for years. The Black woman claims that she keeps secrets from the Black man because he doesn't understand or can't handle it, or he won't like what's going on and give her a problem about it. The Black woman's methods of depriving the Black man of necessary or crucial information are multifarious and subtle. Her ability to cover up lies and disguise the truth is impersonal and matter of fact. She feels no guilt. Lies are a bleak necessity in her life to continue her tragic defiance against the Black man. As far back as she can remember, she has been tricking him and playing some kind of game on his mind. Sometimes she lies just to keep him busy trying to figure out the truth. Sometimes she lies because she believes that a few little white lies spice up the relationship and make it more interesting. She defends lying by claiming they add to the excitement and intrigue of keeping him guessing. She never considers the kind of unhappy, miserable personality it takes to need lies as a stimulus to make a relationship successful. Her modern state-of-art values tell her that nothing is all right or all wrong. She deals with situation ethics. She lies or tells the truth depending on the situation. She obeys or she is disobedient according to the situation. And she is agreeable or disagreeable according to the situation. She has no overriding principles governing her life whereby she is able to observe and make a determination about validity and use that decision as a constant. Her judgments are spontaneous and change. She is ruleless. If she catches herself being too nice to the black man, she calls herself back to order because she does not want him to take her for granted or decide that anything he does is okay with her. She has been told somewhere that black men like it when you treat them badly. And the fact that he keeps coming back for more makes her conclude that this must be true. She doesn't consider that the black man keeps coming back because he loves her and hasn't given up on her. She never really believes that he loves her because she thinks that whether or not he loves her is dependent upon whether or not he's attracted to another woman. And if he does become attracted to another woman, that is the proof that he doesn't really love her. She doesn't feel safe and she doesn't feel qualified to be completely loved for being her natural self. So she keeps up a front around the black man because she thinks that her front is better than the real her. She is held mentally captive inside the barriers of Western civilization's ideas and practices. The mentally imprisoned black woman must be freed and called upon to rise and accept the reprieve offered to her by the black man to reunite her with her nation. The black man must be firm in this. He cannot practice weakness or be wimpy. He must take charge with as much force as required because it makes no sense to practice nonviolence during war. And there is a war of the worst kind going on between the black man and the black woman over who is going to be the boss and who is going to lead the way. The black man must take on this challenge. The black woman's voiceless brain is crying out loud. Sorry. The black woman's voiceless brain is crying out louder and louder for him to conquer her and to fight and destroy the ferocious demons inhabiting her head. These demons are in the form of bad ideas and bad morals. He must remember that she is not as tough as she acts. She is mostly a lot of mouth. She could be a number of things, as already proven, but she cannot be a man. If the black man commences a national project to put the black woman back in order and under his control, he will not be interfered with because the whole world knows that the black woman has been out of control for an inordinate length of time. The black man is the only one on earth who can restore her to herself, a beautiful, righteous woman, wife, and mother. Whew. Hey, yo. That chapter. If you follow me on Instagram, I made a story today and I was talking about how in the first part of this chapter, I couldn't really relate because my family doesn't really do that. Like, we confide in each other, but there's never like taking my side just because I'm the woman or I'm their family member. It's always like trying to be as impartial as possible. But I have seen a lot of this in our community. After I read these chapters, I just feel like sitting and just thinking on it for a second because it's just like, she ain't lying. She ain't lying. It's just crazy how these problems are still happening today, how relevant this book is today. Like, it's just insane. And she's spot on. And I think there's not enough attention given to post-slavery, that traumatic PTSD, post-traumatic slave syndrome. I don't think there's enough talk about that and what that did to us in our relationships and how bad it broke down the black nation. And just the book is just so relatable on so many levels. If it's not me personally, I've witnessed it with somebody like close to me. And so it's just very interesting how she said, you know, there's so many similarities. The only thing that's different is maybe the varying of the degrees, but there are still similarities, I feel, across the board, especially if you are descendants of slaves here in America. So, yeah, interesting. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let's talk about it in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. keeping up. I am determined to get through this book before the end of February, so then we can get through the next one, which is the Black Woman's Guide to Understanding the Black Man, which is a much thicker book. So I will be making sure I stay on top of it so we can get through it in a good timing. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.